Welcome back to Definitely Not Definitive. I'm Ken.
And I'm Bethany.
And this is Destiny 2, Part 4, Season of the Haunted. If you want all of our reactions to the series, check out the description of this video for a playlist. And if you want early ad-free access, then go ahead and check out Patreon, or you can hit the little join button down below, join YouTube membership to get early access.
Yeah, you have options.
You do have options. Are you ready to do this?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Victory sits before us, and yet it feels strangely hollow. We have severed what should be the
There's no joy in Eris' words, yeah.
Pyramid, and yet there's
Generally the
no
case.
reaction from the Leviathan, no reaction from Callus, and the lunar pyramid's psychic emanations are quiet. I cannot help but feel as though we have not weathered the storm, but merely stepped into its eye. The nightmares contained within the crown of sorrow are seething. Something is coming, Guardian, and we are not prepared. I would ask that you return to the Leviathan, continue to imprison the nightmares aboard it, while I attempt to ascertain what has changed.
Eris told me what happened. How are you?
Tired and old.
But do you feel like a legend, Kyle?
I will break you in half, small man.
I can't imagine it was easy. That confrontation after all this time. Mine wasn't.
You are
Definitely.
not mistaken. I know what
Did you stab
Horde
yours
is
in your
to
dick?
People. A symbol of death and ruthless ambition. But he was so much more than that to me. He was an idol, an inspiration to all Cabal. Even though he was born to a low station, he rose. How he rose. I was blinded by the light of his accomplishments.
Grabbed up like a deuce.
Unable to see the man inside. Unable to see his self-aggrandizing corruption. I refused to believe he was as much like my father as he was. It repulses me how much I still feel for them both. In spite of everything they became.
It's hard.
Tough bond to break, yeah.
To challenge your idols. Even harder to make the decision that you'll be different. But then you look back on your
You'll be
life,
better.
your own mistakes, and you wonder how you'll be judged when all is said and done. I'll never know Gaul as you did, but I know you, Cuddle. I see you.
That is all anyone can ask for. To be seen as they are.
It is as I feared. We were too late. In spite of our efforts, the lunar pyramid has surged to life, and the depths of the moon roar with this monumental change. Callus has assumed control. But all may not be lost. Callus's psychic imprint is massive. Like a snail coiled within its shell, not all of him has slithered out of the Leviathan and into the pyramid. If we strike now, as one, at the heart of Callus's presence within the Leviathan, we may yet be able to prevent him from turning the power of the pyramid against us. A ritual of this size will require a massive amount of power, and all of our combined efforts. Crow, Keitel, and Zavala will need to coordinate with you. Return to the Leviathan. Gather the reagents we need to perform one last ritual, and perhaps, just perhaps, we will be able to prevent disaster.
Regulators! Mount
I
up.
was surprised to see Gaul as your friend.
I'm sure he would prefer to be remembered as you knew him.
Fear.
Fearsome and
Yep.
terrifying. But I'm happy you saw him as I did. The finest mentor I ever knew.
Cuddly teddy bear.
Do you remember, Zavala? The night we buried Hakim? The gun in your hand, the moon at your back, and and your ghost.
You saved him. Saved him from me.
You would not have hurt him, Zarana. It would have only been more death.
You couldn't have known that. What did you see? A desperate man, dangerous with grief. I would have pulled the trigger.
What I saw was a broken man holding a gun to his own heart. He would have sooner killed himself.
This is it. No margin for error. Eris, Crow, Keitel, get into position and plant your amplifiers. Guardian, straight down the middle. Go make some noise and draw Callus's forces to you.
You do that.
Status report. My amplifier is set, and I am in position in the throne room. My coward of a father is nowhere to be found. Working on it. I've got a lot of heat back here.
My amplifier is set, but loyalists are converging on my position. Callus is not fooled by our attempt at a diversion.
Do you hear that?
Keitel, what is it? Keitel?
Her comms are being blocked. Guardian, get to the throne room and see what's going on.
Working on it.
Amplifier set! Heading to...
Crow, report. Eris, can you reach him?
Everyone's going down.
I'm already on my way.
Guardian, stick to the plan. Find Callus and...
Does Zavala just go down? Is everyone's nightmare getting them? I thought we cured them.
Well, in a haunted place, things aren't always what they seem.
The others are not with you? Then we do this alone.
Let's do it, Keitel.
Father!
Sure.
Do you see me? Show yourself!
She's a badass.
Yes, she is. Father, I've come for you. Okay.
I see, daughter. I see your failures, your doubts, your fears. You could have stood at my side, but instead, you chose this.
I choose violence.
Hope you don't mind, but I couldn't resist a chance to be a hero one last time.
Guardian,
Callus,
I will raise defenses.
this is going to hurt. A lot.
Those skulls coming out of his mouth?
There is nothing to fear.
You
I
are safe.
I think there's a lot to be afraid of right now. She's barfing up skulls.
Did we get him?
Guess so. Ooh, okay. Cool outfit. It's okay, Zavala. Let go.
Where is Callus?
Dead. He has given himself over to the witness. My father is gone.
Sophie.
When Zavala cries, we all cry. It's a beautiful shot.
I love that Kaido put her hand on him.
Yeah.
Even with all our strength, we barely stopped Callus. This was not a victory, Guardian. It has merely bought us time.
We're gonna chalk it up to it.
Callus has become an emissary of the Witness.
Put it in the win column.
He is the
Sick.
harbinger of the
Celebrate your
second
wins.
collapse. For all we know, this was Callus's plan from the beginning, luring Guardians to his side with promises of riches and lavishing them with praise, only to slaughter all of humanity at the behest of a voice whispering to him in the dark. Callus may be gone, but the Leviathan remains, and it will take months to clear out the remaining nightmares and assure it is no longer a threat. But even those efforts may be for naught. We have reached the point of no return. The Witness is near. It is the beginning of the end.
Bring it.
I remember Toro battle. How the crowds would take to the streets in celebration of the Empire's victories. Cheering until the sun rose above the city.
When I close my eyes, I can still see the mountains and the seas. The lush jungles where wild war beasts hunted in packs. That is all gone now. Likely overrun with hive chitin and rotten fungus. The same as this accursed ship.
Then keep Toro battle's memory as you keep mine. And when the time comes, avenge what has been lost.
Wow.
Hey!
The unkillable is dead.
Finch!
The Witness
What's
must be
up?
shaking in its boots, yeah? Oh man, you Guardians, you're always pulling off the unimaginable. I never knew the guy personally, but word on the street was Rolk had been the proverbial thorn in Savathun's side for like eons, really. But now, both of them are, you know,
Gone.
in the ground. Which means nobody's controlling that pyramid. And the Scorn see the opportunity. Their control could lead us right back to another Rolk-sized problem. So, if you don't mind, maybe keep the place under our control instead? And who knows? Maybe in the process we'll learn something more about Rolk. Or even better, the Witness. Good luck in there, friend.
You don't have to keep hanging out on this dead body, you know. It's true.
I received your last message. Whatever reckless plan brings you to the reef need not be shared with the Vanguard or the Guardian, but keep me informed at the very least. Those haunted here have found a measure of peace, but it takes more than resolve to overcome one's regrets. We have both felt it. How a moment of pain can weave into the whole of our lives. How it binds us to patterns of thought and action. I have stared into the eyes of my pain made manifest, pleaded with it, raged at it. What face would your nightmare wear? For so long, I believed peace was beyond my reach. No more. I have found it in guiding others down the same path that saved me. But I might allow myself to want more than peace. What? I am not certain. Is joy the word? Might I find that again?
Hopefully.
You told me to live my life. There is more truth in you than either of us would care to admit. I have something that will be of interest to you. The Lunar Pyramid remains rife with secrets. Meet with me, and we will discuss what I have found. Take care, Rat.
You never cease to entertain me, little guardians. Time and again, you have moved me to applause. And have I ever withheld your gilded reward? No, for I am magnanimous, generous, forgiving. And so, I grant you yet another gift. One last chance at salvation.
Oh boy.
The witness in all its glory has set its covetous gaze upon your traveler. You cannot stop it. Light burns for only so long. A feeble flame, easily extinguished. But you need not share that fate. I invite you to instead join me in revelry.
Never!
Embrace the inevitable. Alas, you have always been stubborn. So, if you insist on being devoured, then I will savor your final moments. Until our next reunion, Guardian.
Good to have you back.
Do you know the legend of Acreus, Guardian? First Emperor of the Cabal. He who defeated a mighty beast to claim the sun. When Kaito tells the story, she speaks of the warriors who gave their lives to wound the beast first, paving the way for Acreus' victory. She means to say that the source of the Cabal's strength is the Empire itself, not the one who leads it. But I hear a different message. Do you remember? One must write their own legend, strike the final blow, or be forgotten. That is the way of the Cabal. For years, I conspired with Callus's enemies to end his rule. I cared nothing for political revelries. But I knew Callus would lead the Empire to ruin. So when
That's what you kind of ended up doing.
first entreated me to join their cause, I agreed and swallowed my distaste for deceit. They did not expect me to befriend the Emperor. Nor did I. On the night of the coup, I could not meet his eyes. But neither could I forsake my duty. Friendship would not blind me to Callus's weakness. And I would not allow it to become my own. When I first met you in battle, Guardian, I thought you soft and weak.
That was your mistake.
Because you feared death. But because you did not, throw one's life away, safe in the knowledge that it will return. That is the antithesis of sacrifice. A mockery of the warrior's creed.
Okay, you kind of got a point there.
I see now that it is not your death you fear, but the death of those you defend. And that fear gives you power. A power I failed to recognize until it bested me. May Callus make the same mistake. I would have
Like
liked to face an Ahamkara in battle.
You don't fear your death. You fear the death of others, and that gives you a power.
Some would call it foolhardy.
Yeah, strength. You're fighting for something other than yourself.
Such desires.
Which I really talked about, but it was just the way he framed it made me think of, like,
Did you not?
the power of the comfortability with your own sacrifice. I don't know, it hit me a different way.
Against you. The Cabal need not fear that outcome, for we do not make wishes. We forge our own fates. Gladiator, Primus, Traitor, Dominus, all titles I have worn. Never did I count hero among them. But that was how Kaito saw me. Someone to admire and emulate. A guiding light in a starless sky.
Charles Barkley, I'm not a role model.
A different light. One that incinerated me. If I had stayed behind, perhaps Kaito and I could have saved Toro Bottle together. Perhaps I could have even called myself a hero.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
To be a gladiator is to earn the right to leave with every battle. Victory bought one more day. Defeat meant death. Once, in a coliseum, that fate loomed above me. A cleaver poised to fall upon my neck. What would be my final moment? I looked to the crowd.
They give you strength?
Callus sat upon the royal balcony, dispassionate. But then I saw Kaito. The look in her eyes, issuing a silent command. Win and live. And so I did.
You had a lot of time to look around while this thing was coming down.
On that day, I learned that the sweetest victory does more than buy life. It rewards hope. Some among the
Life lessons from Gaul.
Yeah.
extensive study of hive warfare. Kaito's first advisor, Omuna Roth, was chief among them. At first, she sought merely to understand our enemy. That desire festered into obsession. She came to worship their war god. Know this, Guardian. The Cabal revere warriors, not war itself. We do not slaughter, we conquer. War without purpose is wasteful. War without honor is butchery. That is what sets us apart from the hive. A lesson Maroth never learned.
You know, my friend Jolion and I used to run circles around the Cabal. It was so easy to slip past them unnoticed. We watched them build up their forces on Phobos and Mars.
So we going over all their nightmares or all
They
their...
never marched on the reef, so
I'm
we
asking
stayed
the
out
memories of
their
them
way.
sitting
Yeah.
yeah.
In hindsight, I wonder whether that was the right choice.
If I'll be
If
next.
we'd intervened, would Callus have ever come to the Sol system? Would Gaul? Guess we'll never know. The shot not taken, right? How is Petra these days? She and Crow didn't exactly part on good terms when they last met. That couldn't have been easy on her. She's
Yeah, but
lost a lot. of
Petra's a
people in
rock
the
star.
course of her life. Some by her own hand. I know Crow regrets the things he said to her. He now sees how desperately she was trying to protect him. Apologies have never been my strong suit. I can only hope Crow proves better at them than I was. Crow's fond of the fallen, isn't he? So was I. I admired their tenacity. Back them into a corner and they'll die fighting. Not even their whirlwind could bring an end to their kind. But Crow, he sees in them a kindred spirit. A people who lost all that they were and now have to build something new from the ashes. What that ends up being is entirely up to them. Just like it is for us. It's strange watching myself from afar, seeing who I might have been if given a second chance. Sometimes I'll catch myself wanting to reach out to Crow so I can share with him a better way of doing things, the boon of experience. And then I'll wonder, would I have listened if anyone gave me that kind of advice? Would he? Honestly, I don't know if I'd want him to.
It's good advice that you just can't take.
And loss are
Isn't it
powerful
ironic?
forces. They wear you down like rain on stone. Give them enough time, and they'll erode mountains. After the Awoken fleet was decimated at Saturn, I held on to hope that Mara had survived, but eventually, grief warped that hope into hatred. For everyone and everything. There are no excuses for what I did in those years. I know that. Just keep in mind that we all have reasons for the decisions we make. Even you. Light and dark. Good and evil. Never that simple, is it? That's something the Reef's always known. Caught between two cosmic forces. Walking in the shadows between them. Some might say that makes us untrustworthy. Some might forget everything we lost when we stood in Oryx's path. You don't need the light to be a hero. And you're not a hero just because you wield the light.
True.
Remember that.
Good points.
I always thought my sister had all the answers. That she just knew everything.
Well, she carries herself that way,
That
so.
doesn't give her enough credit. When Mara asks a question, she wills the answer she wants into being. That's her real gift.
That is sort of a
Because knowing the
superpower.
truth
Yeah.
And being powerless to change it, that, my friend, is a curse.
Yeah.
Amanda Holliday.
Here we go.
Do you know her, Daddy? I never met her myself, of course. I have seen her only through Zavala's eyes. He looks at her the same way he looked at Hakim. An orphan in need of a family, someone for him to protect. But like Hakim, Amanda is of her own mind. She does what she feels is right, no matter the risk. I hope this time Zavala can learn to accept that. There was a time when Guardians worked shoulder to shoulder with the people under their protection. That was before the walls and towers. when hope was our only shield and community our refuge. I can see why Zavala thinks that keeping people safe means keeping them at arm's length. I understand that all too well. But perhaps one day he can remember how things used to be and how they could be again.
And he does it to keep himself safe.
An eternity. How much
Keep his heart safe.
is there in nearly 2 decades of an immortal man's life? Even after we parted ways, I never uprooted the part of myself that Zavala planted in my chest. It still grew, thrived. The daughter I raised was raised by him too, in a way. In the lessons he taught me, in the parts of me he changed forever. Just like I changed him. In the Dark Age, there were many small settlements scattered across the land. Caravans braved the wilds to deliver supplies to those in need. I often rode with them. It never hurt to have a surgeon along, just in case. Civilization had collapsed. All humanity had ever built was buried in rubble. And yet, as we traveled, I saw how nature continued to thrive around us. When all seems lost, look not to the ruins. See the saplings that sprout anew and remember that life endures. The light can perform miracles. I have seen it set broken bones, replace lost skin, even reconstruct someone from a pile of ash. With that kind of gift, it can be easy to think of yourself as invincible, immune to harm.
Yep.
But trust me, Guardian, there are some wounds that even the light cannot heal. When he was just a boy, Hakim asked Zavala how to become strong. Zavala smiled and said, "What makes you think I'm strong?" "Because you can kill the fallen," Hakim answered. Zavala shared a look with me before he spoke again. "Killing doesn't make you strong," he told Hakim. "The strongest people are the ones who lift others up."
Yes.
Always
Good job,
remember
Zavala.
that you are one of
Not that I
the
doubt you.
strongest people Zavala has ever met. And it is not because you know how to kill.
What a great way to end it.
Yeah, you like that?
I did. I mean, one, because I agree with it.
Mm-hmm.
But two, like, you know, being the player and having the final part of that clip, the final thing we hear being Zavala believes you're the strongest person he knows. And it's not just because you know how to kill a fallen. In other words, like, you live exactly what Zavala was teaching to his child. And I'm sorry, but what a great compliment to think that you live
Yeah.
the example that someone is trying to teach to their child. Like, the lessons we impart to children are the most important. And so, like, to say that someone else's example is a huge honor.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, it was nice seeing, I mean, like, you know, action-wise, there wasn't much going on. I was just kind of like, you know, just standing there, like, listening to the audio as it was going. But, like, what they were saying was interesting. Like, some, like I said, some good life lessons in there from the different characters. But, like, what was most impressive in this part was Keitel and just, you know, her roar against her dad, putting the arm on Zavala. So, like, is a character that, well, the Cabal, you know, with Gaul and everything like that, I mean, definitely the enemy. And, like, not someone that I necessarily trusted, even when she was kind of, like, working with us. I was like, all right, yeah, but she's trying to get, like, Zavala to be, like, on our war council, and, like, she has, like, you know, these ulterior motives, and yeah, so not someone that, like, totally trusted, but, like, after this season, someone that I think is an ally, and 100% trust that she will, I guess what we talked about before, has integrity, and will do what she feels is right. It might not be exactly what we think, and we're gonna have disagreements, and that might even lead to another fight with Keitel, but I just have a tremendous amount of respect for her after this.
God, she's a very impressive character. I think you summed up very nicely what
well, thank you.
What I would agree with, which is, you know, I don't know that I call her a friend, but certainly an ally.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I would trust her unconditionally, but I do trust that she will do what she feels is right. And sometimes that's all we can ask.
Yeah.
You know? I did love sort of the the character of Gaul and Uldren. Their memories seem to be encapsulated with regret. But like what they were saying was sort of like to impart the wisdom that their experience yielded, which while filled with regret is something that people can learn from. Like the way that Gaul was talking about like who he was before Keitel basically started to believe in him and see him as a role model. And then it was sort of like her belief in him that helped him win as a gladiator and gave him strength to go on in certain instances. So yeah, okay, so he didn't always do what was right. And as he said, like the light that he followed ultimately incinerated him. So it didn't go entirely according to what he would have liked. And he recognizes that. I just liked sort of the different life lessons he was putting in there about, you know, who he was and what gave him strength and what he thinks of Keitel now and how much he admires her.
Yeah, it's interesting when you talk about trust because I wanted to say the word trust with Keitel, but I'm like, I can't say like trust because I think when we talk about trust, we think of like trust as in a person won't hurt us and a person like has our back always, you know, like has our best interest in heart. That's what we think of as trust. But I think trust can be mean different things. I mean, like you can trust in different things in different people. Like you can trust that a person does have your back and that a person does, want to protect you and like will do anything for you. Like that's a great trust to have. But then there's the trust of that a person will always be true to themselves. That's someone that like when you had talked before about surrounding people with integrity, like that's someone you can go to and really ask the hard questions to, because you trust that they will tell you honestly what they think and what they believe, versus like someone that if someone that has your trust as far as like they have your back and you think that they're always gonna be looking out for you, they might not always be like 100% honest with you about everything because they don't want to hurt you. They're afraid to hurt you and they're afraid what it might do to you. They're maybe afraid you can't handle it. Which, you know, it's, and that's not, so you got to have both kinds of people in your life. And hopefully, you know, you can find someone that does both, you know, and that's what I think you find in someone you want to spend the rest of your life with. I trust that Bethany definitely like would do anything for me and has my back and would like, you know, jump in a bullet for me. I would throw out of the way before that bullet hit and it would hit me instead. But I also, you know, trust the fact that she would tell me the hard truths and know that by doing that, yes, it might hurt in the moment and it might hurt my feelings and be painful, but it's something that I need to hear for, you know, a variety of reasons to like, so I can grow and so I can be better. So that's why like I was finding a tough time when I was talking about Keitel and like what word to say about like as far as trust goes, because like I said, for me, it's just so inherently like you think trust of like, oh, this person's like never gonna harm me and I trust this person, like they're gonna be honest.
Yeah. You know, and what you were just talking about, like trust like that is a two-way street, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to trust that somebody is going to tell you the honest truth about things, even when they're hard truths. They also have to trust that you can hear it.
Yeah.
And that like when you hear it, it's not all about your ego and like your knee-jerk emotional response, which could be anger or upset or whatever, but that you have the ability and the emotional intelligence to hear it and go like, okay, I don't love that. Like, it's okay not to like the truth.
Yeah.
But then you have to hear it and figure out what you're going to do with it. And in an ideal world, hopefully you're going to learn from it and improve and do, you know, whatever it takes to get better. I think also, you know, in terms of what Safia?
He I think Zavala calls her short, like as like the nickname for her is Safi, but I think it's like Sophia is her like full name. I
love what she said about the way that partners basically impact each other. And she said that she raised her daughter in a way with Zavala, even though she didn't raise her daughter with Zavala, like physically and with his presence there. But he had such an impact on her as a person that essentially like part of him had taken root in her. And that informed who she was and how she taught her daughter lessons. I just thought that was so beautiful as well.
Yeah.
She really brought out like the beauty of everything. Like Uldren and Gaul, Uldren and Gaul, they kind of brought out their regrets. Yeah. Which are important to hear, like good to know. But she really brought like the love and the beauty with what she said.
Yeah.
Also, just on the whole thing about like trust and kind of going back to what we had talked about last time with that unconditional loyalty, those can be good things. There are also things that are present in ass kissers.
Yeah.
Ass kissers will tell you what you want to hear
Mhm.
all the time, and they will be loyal
Mhm.
in the absence of everything else, their own morals and integrity and whatnot. You don't want to be surrounded by those people.
Yeah.
They can stroke your ego, but they're literally doing nothing else for you but that. And then you can have an unhealthy ego, and that's not good either. I really like Season of the Haunted.
Yeah, I agree. This is one of my favorite seasons that they've done.
I mean, you know, we think we know Zavala so well, but like this season, we learned so much more about his character and his backstory in this, and the depth of him. Like Zavala had always come across as a person of depth and who had lived life, and you know, I'm sure he had some stories, but
He was
never,
our boss.
yeah, never imagined it was something
Yeah.
like that. And so just really got to know our characters better.
Yeah, it's like Zavala's always someone like you respected and you liked or whatever, but you didn't really know.
Yep.
You know, and so it was great to get to know Zavala more in this, and yeah, and then also Crow finally dealing with Uldren. That's really important. So looking forward to see how Crow is going forward. Yeah, just the vibe of this season I thought was great, and dealt with some heavy stuff. That we had led to some good discussions.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you want to jump ahead to the next season right now, we probably get through the whole thing because it's usually 4 parts and we're a month ahead. You can join down below, little join button, join our YouTube membership. Or if you want early ad-free access, you can also go to Patreon and do it that way. So you got options, people. Thanks so much for seeing our reaction for Destiny 2 Season of the Haunted, but just keep in mind
that our reaction is definitely not definitive.